Hey, so in this video, I wanted to talk about why I like Arnold splits. Arnold splits are not the most popular split, but I like them. So I'm going to talk about why, but first I wanted to give a little update. In my last video, I said I wasn't sure if I was going to continue with the bro split, but I think I am going to continue with it because I don't know, 3 months just doesn't seem like long enough to give it a fair shot. I am going to modify it a little bit. For the most part, that'll be doing chest and back on the same day. So I'll have a chest and back day. Then the next day will be shoulders. Wednesday will be a lighter day, just some abs, little forearms, a little bit of neck. Then Thursday is going to be arms, and Friday legs. So I said I wanted to reduce my volume a little bit, and I think that's what I'm going to do so that I can do that and still run the bro split. But anyway, on to Arnold splits. Now, Arnold splits tend to get a little bit of, not exactly hate, but they're not very popular, and I've seen people complain about them quite a bit, but I really like them. I think the first thing that I should start with is reasons why I've seen people say that they don't like them or they don't think that they're a very good split. And the first reason is that I've seen a lot of people say that it's way too much volume, okay? If you're talking about the Arnold split in Arnold's Blueprint for Mass, yeah, that one is a ridiculous amount of volume. I do not recommend that anybody run that program, okay? That one's way too much. But that doesn't mean that Arnold splits are inherently like stupid amounts of volume. You can do Arnold splits with high volume, low volume, anywhere in between. Just depends on how you program it. Hey, careful. Another thing that I've seen, probably the biggest complaint that I've seen people make online about Arnold splits, is they say that your muscles are going to be too fatigued. Because, you know, in Arnold split, you train chest and back, then the next day is shoulders and arms, then the next day is legs, and repeat. So a lot of people say that your arms and shoulders are going to be too fatigued from your chest and back day to train them effectively. This has not been my experience at all, okay? The reality is that you do not fatigue your shoulders and arms that much from a chest and back day. Or at least you shouldn't if you're not running insane amounts of volume. And I know that some people aren't going to believe me about this, but honestly, just try it, okay? Just try it out. I'm gonna give a free sample program for the Arnold split at the end of this video, but I promise you, you can train shoulders and arms just fine. And actually, in my experience, I can, thank you, Becca. I can get higher quality work in from my shoulders and arms on an Arnold split than I can on, for example, an upper-lower split or a push-pull legs. Let's take chest, shoulders, and triceps as an example. Let's say you're running push-pull legs. Hi. So typically you train your chest first, and then your shoulders, and then your triceps. Well, in my experience, by the time I get to shoulders, my shoulders are kind of fatigued from hitting chest just, immediately before. And when I've run a push-pull legs in the past, oftentimes my shoulders kind of stagnate, at least in terms of strength. Then when I move on to triceps, I can't get in as much quality work as I would like. On an Arnold split, I train chest and back on one day, and then the next day my shoulders are fresh. They feel fresh. They're not that fatigued from the day before. And I can get more reps in and higher quality reps. And then the same with triceps. So if you've never tried that, if you don't believe me, my advice is to just try it. Just try it, and I promise you, you'll be fine. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I like the Arnold split, because by dividing my muscle groups up the way that an Arnold split does, I feel that I can get higher quality work in for every muscle group. To be perfectly honest, I like the way that the muscle groups are distributed so much that even when I'm trying to make a custom training split, or when I'm trying to modify one of the other training splits to just distribute things more evenly throughout the week, it always ends up turning into an Arnold split. It really does. So I love how the muscle groups are distributed throughout the week. The other reason why I really love it is time management. Because of how the muscle groups are distributed, there's a lot of antagonist muscles, a lot of unrelated muscles that allow you to superset just about everything. I mean, for me personally, I never superset legs, or specifically quads and hamstrings, because whenever I do that, I want to die. But however, there are some downsides. I mean, even though this is pretty much my favorite split, there are downsides, and one of them, unfortunately, is I'm getting older. I'm in my mid-30s, and my joints are not as great as they used to be. So that joints can be a problem with an Arnold split. In my case, it's in particular the elbow joints. Now, I did say in my last video that I think a lot of my elbow joint problems stemmed from overhead tricep work, which hopefully that means I can run an Arnold split again in the future without much elbow joint pain. But I'm not ready to go back to that yet, because I want to give my joints more time. And the bro split is just, my joints do not complain at all on the bro split. So yeah, that is one thing to consider if you're older, or if you've had joint problems before, you may end up with some on an Arnold split. Another thing that could be a negative, could be a positive, depends on your preferences, is that it is a 6-day split. And some people don't like training that often. So if you don't like training 6 days a week, you may not like the Arnold split. However, there are ways that you can kind of fix that. You could do, the first 3 days and then a day off and then repeat. So that'll make it like an asynchronous split. And not everyone will have time to do that, but it's an option. Another way to do it is as a rotating split. So you would do chest and back, shoulders and arms, legs, then chest and back, shoulders, take 2 days off, and then when you come back, you start on leg day, and then you go chest and back, shoulders and arms, and so on and so on. Usually every week there will be one muscle group that you're only training once per week, but that is a way to do it. I've done a push-pull legs like that before. It worked fine. So that's also an option. Those are kind of the two main downsides that I have with it, or that I could see people having with an Arnold split, realistically, if they actually try it. I think that's the main thing, is that most people are just going to look at it on paper and say, no, that's way too much fatigue. There's no way that'll work. And again, I say try it, just try it. I don't expect to actually convince anybody to try it. However, if you do want to try it, I would like to give a sample program. So on chest and back day, you're going to start off with incline bench press, okay? 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps. superset that with either pull-ups, or if you can't do those, then lat pull-downs. Also 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps. Your next superset is going to be chest dips. Again, 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps. If you can't do chest dips, if they give you shoulder pain, or if you just don't like them, you could replace that with flat bench press. Maybe with dumbbells would be good. And superset that with barbell rows. Again, 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps. If you don't like barbell rows, feel free to replace it with a chest supported row or really any kind of rowing variation. Just make sure you're getting your horizontal pull in. Now, at this point, you could call it a day, but because you've only done 4 exercises, if you've got time, you could get a little bit of extra work in. For example, I like to work on my upper traps at the end of a chest and back day on an Arnold split. So I'll do some barbell shrugs and superset that with decline sit-ups to get some ab work in. Moving on to shoulders and arms. Start this day off with some kind of overhead shoulder press, okay? Personally, I'm a huge fan of the behind the neck press, but I understand a lot of people have reservations about that or they don't want to do that. So I really like behind the neck press, but if you don't want to do it, overhead press. Just do a standard barbell overhead press or a dumbbell shoulder press or whatever you like. Just do a heavy overhead shoulder press. And again, I like these for 3 sets of 6 to 10. Then you're going to work on your side delts. Literally any lateral raise variation. With dumbbells, with cables, with machine, whatever you like. You know, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Just get your lateral raises in. I like to do those 3 sets of 12 to 20 and superset those with reverse flies, with rear delt flies. Again, dumbbells, cables, reverse pec deck, doesn't matter. Choose your preferred one and do that. Then moving on to arms, we're going to superset biceps and triceps together. There's going to be 2 exercises for each. First superset, you want to go heavier. So as I was editing, I realized I totally forgot to put the first bicep exercise in. Anyway, it's going to be easy bar curls or barbell curls, whichever one. 3 sets, 6 to 10, and you're going to superset that with what I'm about to say now. I would recommend either heavy skull crushers, 3 sets, 6 to 10 reps, or tricep pushdowns, heavy tricep pushdowns with a straight bar and a thumbless grip, so your thumbs over the bar. And again, 3 sets, 6 to 10. Then moving on to your second superset. So for this one, you want to do something that forces you to have a little bit stricter form and that you do a little bit lighter. So for biceps, I would recommend either a preacher curl or an incline curl, whichever one you prefer. And for these, I would recommend 2 sets of either 6 to 12 reps or 10 to 15 reps, whatever you prefer. And then for triceps, I would say either in overhead extension, or also called a French press. So you can do that with a dumbbell, or you can, do it with a cable machine. That works really well. If you don't want to do that, I would recommend either cable tricep kickbacks, or what I like to do is single arm pushdowns, but in a tricep kickback style. So pull the elbow behind your body and then extend out. And that really hits the long head of the tricep. And that one also 2 sets of 6 to 12 or 10 to 15, whatever you prefer. Moving on to legs, start off with any squat variation that you enjoy, okay? If you're in a commercial gym and you're training purely for hypertrophy, I'm gonna say hack squat, but whatever squat variation you prefer. Barbell squat, front squat, Zercher squat, pendulum squat, just pick one you like. And I like to do those heavier 3 sets of 5 to 8. Then for hamstrings, RDLs. I'm a huge fan of RDLs for hamstrings. They are just absolutely fantastic. Again, 3 sets of 5 to 8 on those. Then you want to move on to some isolation work. Leg extensions. A lot of people recommend 10 to 15. That's fine. I like them in the 8 to 12 rep range, 3 sets. Then leg curls, again, 3 sets. You can do 10 to 15 reps or 8 to 12 reps. Then you want to get some calf work in, and I'm going to say start off with 3 sets of standing barbell or Smith machine calf raises. I like to do 8 to 12 reps on these. If you don't care that much about calves, you can call it good here. Otherwise, you can do some seated calf raises as well. Those I like to go higher on, up to 20 reps. And if you've still got some time, then you could do a little bit more ab work. Like the ab roller is really good for abs. So you just do 2 or 3 sets of that, and yeah, you're good. Is that the best program ever? No, but I think it's pretty reasonable. I think it's a reasonable amount of volume for each muscle group, and I think it's a good introduction to the Arnold split. Of course, if you don't like some of the exercises, then, just swap them out with ones that you enjoy. If you don't like, how many sets are on each one or the rep ranges, modify it. Do what you like, but I do encourage you to give the Arnold split a try if you never have before. And that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else that I want to say, or at least that I can think of saying about the Arnold split. I hope some of you do give it a try. But regardless, let me know what you think of Arnold splits down in the comments, and I will also write that program out and put it in the description. But anyway, that's it, and yeah, see you guys next time.